Hey everyone, Luther here, Luther's Woodworking. We are on part 5 of the series of videos of making this large train. This part 5, we're going to be making this caboose. And the reason why I'm going to make the caboose now, we have about 6 more cars to make for the train, but I want to do the caboose because if you've already made the engine, the coal car, and a couple other cars, you might just want to end it with a caboose. So I'm going to do the caboose now, and then the other videos after this will be more cars added to the train. If you have not went to part 1 and watched it, go to part 1, because part 1 will explain how you make this setup block for all the different cars, all the different hole locations. It's also got instructions on how this cord is put in the block, then the glue that's put in the hole and the cover plate. It talks about all that. The only thing different with the bases are the length. So go to part 1. It'll talk about how to make the base. So we're just going to get started here on part 5. We're going to make the caboose. Now the caboose consists of this main part on the bottom right here, 2 walls, 2 ends, and then you got a main roof. Then you got this section in the middle right here. Then you got a roof way on top. Then you got the smokestack. Just a few parts to make this caboose. It's all made out of a 1/2 inch wood, except that middle section. I have a bunch of 1/2 inch wood planed down right here for all the parts. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make this bottom section of the caboose right here. The 2 sides with the windows in, and then the 2 ends. We're going to cut that, and then we're going to cut this roof and the centerpiece and this top roof. We're going to go over to the bandsaw and get all them parts cut for this here. Now I have all my templates. If you watch other videos, you know I make a lot of templates for my parts. This right here is the sides for my caboose, which is 1/2 inch by 2 5/8 wide by 5 inches long. And I got this arrow. You'll see I got this arrow on a lot of my pieces right here. That just tells me the grain of the wood's going to go the long ways. And then I have 2 holes right here. Then we're going to be the window holes for the side of the caboose. So what I do is I have my piece of 1/2 inch wood right here. I'll just lay that on there, you know, and to determine how much wood I need, I'll just say, okay, we got this piece. We need 2 of these. Now we need 1 roof. Now we need 2 of these ends. So I should be able to get 2 of these ends out of this board right here. If you can see it, but yeah, I can fit all my parts on this board for 1/2 inch. And then I got my piece right here for the main roof. I should be able to get the main roof out of this one piece right here. And then I also have a piece of 3/4 inch. I just need one of these center pieces for the top of the caboose, so we'll cut that. So let's take all these parts over to the bandsaw, because I use my bandsaw to cut these all out. It's just a lot easier for me. If you don't have a bandsaw, you could use your table saw or even your scroll saw to cut these parts out. So let's head over to the bandsaw and cut out all these parts. Alright guys, here at the bandsaw. Now, we know we need 2 of these pieces right here for the sides of the caboose that have the windows in. So, and the grain of the wood is going this way. So what we're going to do first is we're going to, and this is 5 inches long. So what we're going to do is we're going to set our fence up at 5 inches. And you can get the best you can 5 inches. There's no science to this here, you know. If you're off by a little bit, it's not going to hurt. But we'll go 5 inches right there. And we're going to actually cut 2 of these pieces to that length because we need 2 of them. Okay. All right, so we have 2 pieces cut at the length of 5 inches. Now all we got to do is take them down to 2 5/8 for the width. So what we're going to do is set our saw at 2 5/8. Get it the best you can. I'm just eyeing it up, 2 5/8 there. And we'll just cut these to the width. Alright, so we have our 2 pieces here for the side of the caboose, right here, cut exactly to the length we need them. Now, while we're here, we're gonna just mark where the windows are gonna go. In my template, I got 2 holes right here. We just draw in where the windows are gonna go. We do that on both of them. So actually we got them pieces done. The 2 sides of the caboose done. Now we're going to take our same piece right here. We know we need 1 roof, green this way. And that's actually 3 inches. So we're going to set our fence at 3 inches. And we're going to cut a piece at 3 inches. Right there. Now all we just got to do, turn it, and it's actually 3 inches. This is actually 1/2 inch by 3 by 3 for that roof. So we're just going to run it through one more time. All right, grain that way. There's our 1 roof for the top. That's done. Now we need the ends for the caboose. Here's the grain going this way, and the end, it's 2 5/8 inches long. So we're going to set our saw at 2 5/8, which is right there. And we'll run that through. And we need 2 of them. there's our 2 pieces for that. Now we just need to cut them at 2 inches the width. So we'll just run them through this way at 2 inches. Reset our saw at 2 inches. And just run these through. Alright, so here are our 2 end pieces, cut exactly for our template right here. This is the ends of the bottom section of the car. So we have them done. Now, we can cut, remember that middle section that's made out of 3/4 inch lumber? We're going to do that there. Grain this way, it's 2 inches. So we have to what I do with my tape measure here. All right, we got to set this at 2 inches, which it's already set at 2 inches. So we're going to just cut us off a piece right here. And it's actually 2 inches by 2 inches, so we're just going to turn it, go this way, and run it through again. So here's our piece. That center piece for the roof. Actually, the grain goes this way. Here's that center piece for the roof, 3/4 inch. So we got that done. Last piece is the main big roof right here. We know it's 7 inches long. So we're going to set our saw at 7 inches. And actually, I only got a 6-inch ruler here. We're just going to take this here, our template block here, and just kind of put it up in there like this. Kind of get it close to 7 inches. This is not a real critical measurement. We got it pretty close to 7 inches. Now we're just going to run this through and cut it that way. So we have our piece here for our main roof. Cut this way. I think we got to take a little off. It probably wouldn't hurt, but I'm going to just take a little off to make it 4 inches wide. So we're just going to take this here and use the template. Set that up in there like this. And we're just going to take a little off this here. So, got your main roof right there. So we got our main roof cut. Got the little square piece in the middle between the two roofs. Got the other small roof cut. We got the ends of the car. They're all cut. And we have the two sides of the main car with the windows that got to be drilled in. So everything's all cut. It doesn't really take that long to cut all these parts. Now we're going to head back over to the drill press, because what we have to do is drill 1-inch holes in for the windows of the Caboose. So we'll do that right at the drill press. Alright guys, at the drill press here, we just got to cut these windows in for the Caboose on each side. I'm using a 1-inch Forstner bit. And you know, on Forstner bits, you got that little point on the bottom right there. What I usually do is bring it down to where it goes into my scrap piece just a little bit, and then I'll set my drill press depth. And I do that because when I drill these holes, it'll leave a little mark on each side, the back, and then I'll be able to flip it, and then you'll see exactly where you need to drill. So let's drill these three holes here. On the back right here, I can see a little hole right here where the bit came through. I'm not sure if you can see it, but all I got to do is flip it over and I can use that as a guide. And because I flipped it and drilled from one side and drilled from the other side, you get a real nice clean hole on both sides. And that's what you want. So we do the same thing with this other one right here. Flip it over. And you get real nice clean holes. Now this is going to be the sides of our Caboose. So templates are very important for getting everything all lined up. So now you could leave these holes just like this and take some sandpaper and just soften up these edges on this hole. You could do that, or you could just leave it just the way it is. If you want to put the toy together just the way it is, it's kind of sharp. I usually don't. But what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the router table, and I'm just going to router these edges just a little bit with a round over bit, just to kind of smooth them edges out just a little bit. So we're going to head over to the router and do that. All right, at the router table here. Now I'm using I think it's a 1/4 inch round over bit in my router. It's just going to round the edges of the windows. You really only have to do one side, because when you put the car together, the inside you wouldn't need to do. But because I got it right here, I'm just going to do both sides, round them up nice and smooth. So we'll just turn this on. I'm just going to go in here and soften up these edges right here. So, makes a nice nice smooth edge on both sides of that for nice windows. But like I said, if you don't have a router, you can just sand them 1-inch circles the best you can, get them smooth. That'll work too, or you could just leave it. So let's head back over to the workbench. Actually, we got all these parts cut. I'm actually gonna sand all these parts up, get them ready to glue together, and then we'll be back once I got them all sanded up. I'm just gonna sand the tops and backs of all these pieces and soften up some edges, and then we'll be back to glue this thing together. Alright, so we got everything all sanded up nice and smooth here. This is the bottom part of the caboose here. We're going to glue that first. So I'm just going to put some glue here. Well, alright, we are back. Had to get my glue bottle fixed here so glue to come out. So we're just going to stick some glue here to get these sides glued on. Okay, here. I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to clamp this. Alright, we're going to stick a clamp on that. Alright, and we're going to do the same thing over here. Alright. Put that in there. You want to try to get these as even as possible on the outside edge here, just so you don't have to do too much sanding afterwards. Alright, we'll try to get a clamp on that. And another clamp right here. Alright, so that's the bottom part of the caboose right here. We're going to let that dry because once that's dry, we'll take the clamps off and we're going to sand this top and bottom and the ends so everything's all nice and smooth. So that way when you go to glue it on your base, everything sits nice and flush. And then when you go to put your roof on, everything sits nice and flush. So we're going to let that Let that dry up a little bit, and then we'll come back and get the rest of this glued up. Alright guys, we are back. We're going to take the clamps off. This has been drying for a little while now. I think we should be okay. Like I said, the reason why you want to not put any of this other stuff on until you get this clamped up and dried, because you want to, now we're going to sand the top, bottom, make this nice and flush right here, and then clean up these edges right here. So let's head over to the, I think I'm going to do that on the belt sander. I should be able to, I should be able to clean up. Well, let's head over to the belt sander once. We'll see what happens. Alright, at the belt sander here, like I said, we're going to take this here, and we're going to sand this here, and sand this here, and clean up these edges right here. You just want to make sure that everything's nice and flat here, so it sits on your wheelbase. Okay, now we're going to clean up these ends right here. I think we got that looking pretty good. We'll head back over to the workbench and start gluing this thing together. Alright, back at the bench. Like I said, nice and square. That's what you want. All the way around. Nice and square. Alright, here's our wheelbase. This is 6 inches long for the Caboose. We got to put the peg in there yet. But this is a 6-inch wheelbase. Part 1 video will explain how to make all these wheelbases, but this is for the Caboose. What we're going to do is glue that right on there. And if you want, you can either line it up with the edge right here, or you can leave it back just a little bit. One thing you want to make sure, though, is leave enough room to be able to slip that cord around there to hook up for the next car. So I think what we're going to do is just line it up pretty much on the edge right there. So we will throw some glue on here. All right. And one thing too you want to make sure is clean up any glue that may squeeze out as you're gluing these things together. It's a lot easier to get it cleaned up before you get everything on. Alright, so we got that. We're just going to set that on there. And if you use the measurements that I gave you throughout the video, and plus I'll have a PDF form with all these parts on, everything should fit really nice. You just want to make sure everything is even and nothing's hanging over that will affect the wheels. So that looks pretty good all the way around. Now, another thing we can do is we can glue this little pig in the back right here that goes in the back. Glue that in. And then we have our main roof that goes on. Now, one thing I did not show you on the video, I forgot about it, but I'll mention it now. You have a peg that goes in the back here for the smokestack on the main roof right here, the one that goes in the middle. The smokestack right here. So when you make your main roof, you got to drill a hole for whatever you're going to use for a smokestack. So we will glue this on, and basically when I glue this on, I'm just going to kind of eye it up. I'm not going to do too much fancy work on it. All right, so we will just kind of eye this up. I just kind of center it a little bit. It's not going to be a scientific measurement or not. You're just going to eye it up so it sits on there. It hangs over the back a little bit. If you want, you can do some measuring. I'm just kind of eyeing it up a little bit. See if I like it. Now, an idea, if you want, you could take your square. If you want to line these roofs up right here on the ends, you can do that. So it's lined up with the bottom. It should sit on there pretty good. And I just noticed something. I just noticed something I did wrong, and I don't want you to do this. I'm going to pull this back off again. I just noticed where the smokestack is, this has got to go up like this. So let me get this cleaned up and we'll kind of start over again. Okay, like I said, guys, these are live videos. I'm not doing much editing in them. I did make a mistake. You want to remember, where your smokestack goes, it goes up. So that you want to remember to do. We'll stick a little bit more glue on here. I do make mistakes every once in a while. Everybody does. So we're going to start over here again. Kind of eye this up. Set that on there. Try to get it even with the front right here. kind of take a guess where it sits nice and even. And it's sitting on there pretty even. Now, maybe put your smokestack in there. So you don't forget to do that. Okay. All right, well, we got that done. We are gonna put this centerpiece on here. And I just basically eye these up too. I don't spend too much time trying to figure out where these go. Kind of put that on there like that. And then this roof is going to sit on there like this. So we'll put some glue on here. All right. Let's kind of eye that up. Now we're going to stick this on there. Kind of eye it up a little bit. So it basically looks the same. And it's coming along pretty good as far as that goes. And the last thing would be the wheels. And we can do that, I think. We're just going to make sure some of the stuff is dry here a little bit. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to let this dry just a little bit, and we'll come back and I'll have the wheels on it. All that's left is to put the wheels on it, and then this is done. So when I come back, the wheels will be on it, it'll be done. We'll talk a little bit about the pattern and stuff, but we'll let this dry a little bit. Alright guys, we have this caboose all done. I got the wheels on it. They are real nice. Like I said, you want to make sure you got things glued right. I know I made a mistake. We had to take the roof back off. Maybe the best idea would be to glue this little smokestack in your roof first before you glue the roof on. That way you can't mix that up. But it turned out good. I mean, it's all glued together nice. It looks nice. So it really don't take long to make these. I will have a PDF with all these patterns, all the measurements on all these pieces and parts. I'll have a PDF form with all that information on it, so you can print that out. Pretty much, if you use these exact same measurements, you are going to have a caboose exactly like this, no problem. Just make sure you keep your grain all going in the right way. Like I say, I put arrows on my templates here so I know which way the grain goes. All the information's on there. Every one of my cars in my train, we have a Ziploc bag with the car name on it. And we have everything in the bag, all the information in this bag for the whole car, so we know exactly what we need. And every measurement is right in front of us, so we know exactly what to cut. So pretty much this caboose is all done. Every once in a while, make sure you roll it so the wheels don't stick. But yep, it's all done, guys. So now if you've made a few of my cars in the last couple videos, you can at least get the caboose made, and you can have a short train. But we do have about 6 or 7 more cars that we're going to be doing yet. And plus, at the end of all my videos, I do have a couple bonus cars that I'm going to be building. They're a little bit more complicated, but not too bad. But they're bonus cars. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. And turn on the notifications, because the next video will be coming soon. And I'm not sure which car it's going to be, but you'll find out once you log in and get on that computer and get to my channel and check it out. So we'll see you next time.